Hello and welcome to Open Mic tonight. Well, first of all, I'm your host, Ramsey Chiri, and my co-host, Tanys Coughlin.
Hi,
You
everyone.
know, you know, I don't know why I'm rushing into this episode without even talking about ourselves. So,
It's one of those days. It's a fresh
yeah.
start. We got fresh start in the astrology, and so we're rushing forward.
So I'm your friendly Casper Whisperer, psychic medium, energy healer, and Tannis has a couple of paragraphs. Go ahead, Tannis.
I'm a Reiki master, Aqualid master, Nukti master, Crystal master, Celtic shamanic high priestess, channel, galactic ambassador. Yeah, I do stuff.
It's one of the small little things that she does. And also, what you could do, you can find her at twillowlifestyle.ca,
Mhm.
and you can grab a what do you call it, a coffee with her for
Yeah,
15
discovery session. Yeah,
virtual coffee,
virtual discussion.
virtual discussion, and you can also find me on ramseychidi.net. So tonight's episode is interesting. It's an episode about nothing. So there's nothing to it. We're done.
We're done.
We're,
Do you guys have any questions? Because that would be a great way to start the show. So nothing is everything, and everything is nothing.
absolutely, absolutely. See, one of the things that we used to think in the old days, again, science progressed over time, is that space was empty. There was nothing in it. But emptiness is form,
Hmm.
and form is emptiness. That's a Heart Sutra. I kind of liked it, and I summarized it. I don't know exactly what it means, but the definition, but the essence of it is everything is emptiness. Even our physical body. If you
Hmm.
go down to the little molecule, to the little proton, electron that are just roaming around, which I think there's a one more level in, but I don't recall what it was. It's all empty space.
Hmm.
It's all empty space. We feel it as solid. We feel everything as solid. We It's not we feel, but we see it, and there's a touch to it as a solid.
Hmm.
But the reality is everything has space in it, and wherever there's space, there's okay. Sorry about that. I got distracted by my own thoughts.
I think they're not your thoughts. I think they might be somebody else's thoughts feeding you information. Just
See,
saying.
yeah, it could be. Uh, uh, Gibran Khalil Gibran, which is in his book The Poet, he said, allow space between you so that God could flow through it, so that love could fill that space. And without that space, you can't connect. And that's what I was trying. Like my
Mm,
thoughts went all over the place. Is that if you allow the space in your thoughts, there's space in your body, there's space. So that space occupied by something, and that something is what animates us. And what animates us is like our true essence, which is like beautiful, the energy of love,
mhm.
and love goes out. Now, what happens when we get stressed? We contract,
We
and
contract,
then
and the
everything.
vibration goes down.
Yes, and the space diminishes slowly, slowly, slowly to a point where we actually choke who we truly are. And once we choke that, we can't see beyond our thoughts,
Hmm.
current thoughts.
Which are all, a lot of them are usually programmed, our current
Yeah,
thoughts.
and not good ones.
I have some good ones, but
If you
the
look at your
programs are usually not as good as I would like to see them.
when we let our thoughts go wild, usually we tend to move into the dark side. Everything, because again, that's our program. Our program is fear.
Yeah.
We're programmed by fear. Everything works by fear. So when you allow your thoughts to go on a rampage, where do you end up? In the fear zone.
Yep.
But the good part
Welcome
is
to
that
being human, everyone.
That's true. That's true. And we one of the things we should look at it is that if you don't go into the darkness, you can never see the light.
This is true.
So
You don't know what light is, right?
true.
This is where the yin and yang thing comes. Because if you don't know what it's like to be sad, you don't know what it's like necessarily to be happy. You just are, right?
Yeah,
So that is what makes our beautiful roller coaster of emotion as humans beautiful.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm. And some of you may have noticed that beautiful roller coaster of emotions this week. Just saying. It's been a fun week.
Well, we did go into the spring equinox on Monday,
Yeah.
which was the change of energy into,
New
well, a more
beginnings.
vibrant kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So
All
what
about
else
new
was there?
beginnings, fertility. And then we've got so that was spring equinox. And on Tuesday, we had a new moon.
Oh, that's
And yesterday we had Pluto go into Aquarius, which it hasn't done for like 23 years or something, or even more than that. I think it's changed signs 23. Like Pluto's a really long, long cycle, right?
yeah,
So it hasn't changed signs for a long time. So that was a huge shift in, and it's all about transformation, right? Pluto's about changing and transforming and all of that stuff. So you all may have felt a lot of emotion around that time. I know that with Jen on Monday with Twillo Talk, we were talking about the transits with human design, and there was a lot of this sort of emotional angst. There was almost a competitive sort of feeling in the air, and that was sort of transitioning out as we got to the 23rd. So at least I think that's what she said. um, anyway, the 23rd, it's been quite intense in terms of a lot of the energies this week. So we are starting to let all of that release, because that's what this week was about, was releasing some of this denser energy that we tend to store.
mhm,
And we're moving into a beautiful transition. So like I always say, you guys, it's happening for us, not to us.
absolutely for us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
spring, like you said, it's the time where we come out of hibernation.
Mm-hmm.
We feel alive again. And today over here in Montreal was, I don't know, maybe 1 degrees, but it was so beautiful outside with the sun. I'm sure it was over 5 or 7 degrees with the sun. It was just gorgeous. Things are starting to bloom.
Yeah.
And of course, I was in the UK for 2 weeks, and everything is in full bloom over there.
Beautiful.
Spring has sprung a while back, and you can see the buds and the what are called magnolias
Mm.
opening up. It was just beautiful. I just love spring.
They have such a beautiful smell too, eh?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Those magnolia trees. Yeah. It was funny. I was out doing errands today, and I found myself thinking, I'm going to stop and smell the flowers. So there's me in Costco smelling the plants. I'm like, oh, they smell nice. A little piece of spring,
Yeah.
right? Well, I always tell people stop and smell the flowers. In my card, I have a card that says that. So I'm like, okay, I need to take my own advice. I'm going to stop and smell the flowers. So I did
It's a
that.
good thing you said that. Not this trip. Last trip, I was in the UK, and I was driving in. It's an area called Sussex, which is south of
Mm,
London. It's all fields and livestock, and it's just gorgeous, the whole thing. And I was driving, and you could see a little frost here, a bit of a fog over there, and I go, my God, like, and the streets are so narrow, and I go, I wish I can stop and just take this all in.
yeah,
But because I was driving, I couldn't see that every now and then there's a little space that could have stopped and did that. And when I said that to myself, I paid attention and I go, oh my God, there's a space. Like, they have
yeah,
gates where the animals kind of go in and out. So you
right,
can park your car away from the street because the street is really narrow, like,
yeah.
like beyond narrow.
Almost one car wide, right?
Yeah, and then so
Yeah.
I parked there, and I got out of the car and go, so beautiful. You take the fresh air, you smell the fields. It was just amazing. And yes, do stop and smell the flowers, and
Hmm.
put that in your daily habit.
Hmm.
Daily
Because it
habit.
only takes a moment.
That's all it takes.
But it was, I know it sounds funny to stop but it did make a difference. It put a smile on my face, right? So it was
Yeah,
a way for me to raise my vibe while I'm out doing groceries. So it was great. Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome, and that's why I'm saying put it in your mental note, so
Yeah.
that it breaks your day and it moves you away from the doing into being, even for a split of a second,
Yeah.
to be yourself.
I like that.
That's yeah. So
Takes you
that,
into being instead of doing. Yeah, that is exactly what it did. Because I was doing groceries and I stopped to be for a moment.
but bring you into this nothingness
Hmm.
where everything is so vibrant and alive in front of you,
Hmm.
and that's just a split of a second. That's all you need, and
Hmm.
it brings you back to life.
It is true. It is true. Just like a moment of calm, no matter where you are, if you can take that moment of calm
Yeah.
and breathe and then move forward, it can help.
Oh,
Changes
absolutely,
perspective. Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
also in the other side of the world, basically in Europe and Middle East. I don't know about the Far East. It was Mother's Day on Sunday, last Sunday.
Nice.
Yes, and they celebrated during the spring equinox.
Hmm.
So it's a whole thing about mothers and fresh starts and all of that. It was beautiful, and of course, I did not make reservation at the local pub, and I ended up not eating
Oh
because
no, not
and
even
then
takeout.
they wouldn't give me takeout.
Oh no.
The place is packed. He goes not before 6 p.m. I said, but that's not lunch. Anyways,
Yeah.
I found myself another place, but it was so lively, so lively. The whole thing, the whole area, everybody, and everyone is dressed up and running and going to the bar. So you have this vibrational energy that is rising from everywhere, not only from the earth changing its direction, but also from the people around that brought it up. So to all those listeners, women, and everybody else, happy Mother's Day, the European one, and I
Hmm.
think ours is in May, right?
Yep.
May something.
Yep. Ours is coming in May, usually the middle, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, 14th.
Oh, middle, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
awesome. Coming soon.
Like a
So yes,
movie. Coming
what
soon,
other?
like a movie. You know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna
It's a
say
show about nothing. It's
exactly. What other
like
nothing should we talk about in order to make this nothingness more attractive?
well, thinking of nothing is a good one to talk about when you're talking about that, right? Clearing the mind,
Being
thinking,
mindful. Oh my god.
mindful.
This is one thing. Again, I go back and forth on the UK. Is but I want to know where it is exactly. It everywhere you get on a train, it stop. It says mind the gap, mind the gap, mind the gap. So you're minding the gap between the train and the platform, but the
Ah,
reality is it's a reminder to mind the gap in your thoughts.
it's true.
Well, at least for me, it was a reminder for me. I don't know for everybody else if they actually hear it because they see it they hear it on a daily basis. But it was a mindful remind. It's a reminder being mindful with everything that you do. So mind the gap, mind the
Hmm.
space between your thoughts.
Absolutely.
I am. I did
Do you have?
record it, but I'm not sure which one it is.
London, Victoria, our final destination.
Oh no.
Thank you for travelling with Southern. Please remember the Southern service to London, Victoria.
No. I can't.
We are on the train, folks,
I-
going
I-
from London to Victoria.
I was taking my phone and putting it up close to the speaker because she was saying, "We have reached London, Victoria. Please mind the gap." And I wanted to record it, which I heard it so many times that I
Yep.
wanted to record the gap.
Mind the gap, folks.
And they do remind you about the gap. They put it on the floor everywhere. So minding the gap is very important. It's actually extremely important, and it's important to here. I don't know if that comes up.
Mind the
back-
gap. It's backwards, but
Yeah,
yes.
it's backwards.
See?
Yeah.
It's not just about the store, folks. We're not talking. We're not advertising for the Gap. Although we could be
might-
if Gap wants to jump on.
We should just send them a bill for this advertisement. But gap in a thought is where you find your answers.
Mhm.
The gap in a thought is where emptiness sits, and emptiness is everything,
Mhm.
and everything holds all the answers. So when you're trying to find answers to a problem, usually you can't find it because your mind is going at 100 miles trying to find answers. It's not
Mhm.
stopping to allow things to rise. You go to bed and next morning you go, I found it. And your
You
problem
were traveling
is
to go find it.
resolved.
You found it, put it in a little suitcase, and brought it back.
So you go out and you find it when it's all quiet.
Yep.
When it's all quiet. And I know there are a lot of people that can't sit in silence. Silence seems to be feared.
I was going to go into lyrics there, but
Oh,
it seems the only what is it? See, the last word or final word or something. Forget anyway. That's why I didn't originally go into it. There's a lyric around that, folks. Look it up.
So there's fear around it, other than those lyrics, but there's fear around it, and we tend to feel uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. Hi, Shem.
Hi, Shem. Nice to see you.
Thank you for joining. So silence brings uncomfortableness in some people, and they feel that there's a need to continue to talk.
Mhm.
But there's more said by being quiet rather than by, I'm gonna call them silly words that come out because they're fluff, they're fillers that really they're not required unless there's a deep conversation that is taking place. And even at a deep conversation, when you hold space, what you're doing is that you're emptying your mind, and you're
Mhm.
holding that space for that other person who is um, trying to move energy out of them, okay, by telling the story, by getting their emotions out. And if you're holding that space, that emptiness takes over both parties, and it calms the other person down, and his or her problem kind of like um, disappears.
Mhm.
I'd rather be a lover than a fighter, because all my life I've been fighting, never felt. Okay, here, let's put it up because I can't read Philippines today. You want to go with that?
Oh, sure. I'll read it, but I'll read it from over here. Yeah, I'd rather be a lover than a fighter because all my life I've been fighting, never felt a feeling of comfort. Oh, and all this time I've been hiding and I never had someone to call my own. Oh, nah. This is song lyrics, by the way. I'm so used to sharing. Love only left me alone, but I'm at one with the silence. There's the gap. Mind the gap.
Find the gap.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. So, yes, so silence is very, very important. And even in,
The
go
other
ahead.
thing I wanted to mention too is, when you talk about the, I mean, you mentioned the silly words that are fluff. Sometimes those silly words that are fluff are not the most important part of the conversation.
Yeah.
It's the energy exchange. It's the stuff that's happening on a very telepathic path, that we don't realize is happening. Right. So we have conversations with people. There's the physical, of course, which we communicate physically with gesture, with eye movement, with facial expression, with all of that stuff as well. So sometimes the words are just the words. They don't mean as much as what you're doing or what your face is saying or what your body is telling people, so, and that's where people can feel that incongruency too, right, between what your face is telling you and what the energy is that's going out. But sometimes the words are just they are just to fill. And I think when we're talking about holding space, it's like we don't need to have the fill, right? And because we're having this other conversation, that stuff is just the sort of the I'm seeing cotton candy. Okay, guys, they have a sense of humor. It's just that stuff, right? So sometimes we try and fill it just because we're used to that, but that's not the conversation. I think that's part of what you're getting at. Is the conversation is sometimes the physical, energetic conversation that's happening at a different level.
And usually, sometimes words that come out are not what the person is trying to say. And like
Right.
you were saying, it's if you're holding that space, you can get the meaning out without having to decipher words.
Mm-hmm.
Because words, unfortunately, they mess us up royally. If we don't get it right, it's not because we don't get it right, because you have two parties. One
Mm-hmm.
person is trying to relay a message, while the other person is trying to ask a question about the message that is coming out without having the space to acquire the information that is being transferred to that person.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me something, and all I'm thinking is, oh well, if she said this, I'm going to say that, and there's a message that underlies all of this that I would miss,
Mm-hmm.
and then we end up fighting
Mm-hmm.
because I can't hear your point and you can't hear mine.
Well, there's also the speaking to listen and the speaking to be heard,
Yeah,
right? When we're talking just to talk, or we're talking um, to talk over, as opposed to listening to what the person is saying. If you're truly listening, you're listening to what they're saying with the idea that you'll add to that conversation. If you're not listening to what the other person was saying, you're talking to talk, not to add to the conversation. So there's an important part there about active listening, right?
that's active listening. Active
Which I
listening
think
is
is great.
very important, and it helps resolve a lot of issues,
Mm-hmm.
and it connects people together.
Yeah, because communication, you're meant to create a shared understanding
Yeah,
of something, right? And how can you share an understanding if you're not taking the time to understand the other person's words or actions or stuff in between,
yeah,
reading between the lines, so to speak?
yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So, again, nothingness is the key to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, we touch on communications. We can touch also on being. See, beingness is part of communication, of like you mentioned before, it's the unsaid words, it's the message that goes through. You call it telepathically, but my people might say, oh no, we don't, or they don't believe in it, but there is a feel.
Yeah,
Okay, if you don't want to call it telepathically, there's
it's
still
energy. It's
yes,
energy.
So there's a feeling that comes through, and through that feeling there's a message embedded in there, which you, for some reason, we all understand it without even questioning those things,
Hmm.
you know. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
That's the beauty of it.
definitely.
So when you empty yourself, when you're in a state of alignment, mindful, things flow in a different directions, and that flow allows to it's allows for a deeper connection
Hmm.
between all parties at the same time.
And there's, that heart coherence thing is what's coming to mind. When you're communicating with someone, you have a heart coherence. Your
Yeah.
hearts get lined up energetically, and that creates that connection to be able to read the other person's. There's science on this now. I'm not fully versed on all the ins and outs of it, so I'm not going to get into that, but you can certainly read about it. It's a heart coherence.
Mhm.
I know heartmath.com has a lot of information about that kind of thing. I believe Joe Dispenza has some stuff on that, heart
Yes.
coherence. That's his thing, one of his things. So, if you want to know more about that kind of heart-to-heart connection that happens, it is an energetic thing that they are learning to measure and monitor and all that stuff. And it's a different language to talk about things than what Ramsey and I sometimes do. It's a little bit more on that sciencey side, but you can certainly take a look there and see what comes up for you.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd like to talk about, and maybe this is totally off topic for you, but my thought was the nothingness. When there's no topic because it's talking but nothing. Um, so the nothingness. I once saw something that if we were to be able to see all dimensional frequencies, there would be no space,
Hmm.
because if all of the stuff around us would be filled up with other energy, because it's all energy.
Yeah.
So there's space, but there isn't. And that's kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's that nothing is everything. Because if we were to be able to see all of the stuff that's out in space, for instance, you know how we've got huge gaps between stars and planets and all that? If we were to be able to see everything that was there, there would be hardly any room between stars and everything. But they're all in different dimensional frequencies, and so we don't see them with what we have available to us in terms of our science at this time. So I'm excited that in the future that we will likely be able to, increase our scientific knowledge around this stuff and be able to start to see the space between the space.
Actually, there's a theory now. I'm not sure if it's now or it's been out for a while. Is that um, the space itself is like a what do you call it? It's a piece of paper. It holds all the galaxies and stuff in it, and then if you want to travel from one end to another, you just bend it over and
Mm-hmm.
you cross. So you bring 2 points closer to each other and then bring them back to where they are. But it's bendable and it holds a lot of stuff. So this is exactly what you're saying. But
Fascinating. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
these are theories that they come up with every other day until they
Until
disqualify.
we get the right stuff to be able to measure, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
But a lot of theories in the past, they all came out true.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny part is that all those theories from previous religions, like not previous, old religions like the Buddhists and the Hindus, they're all coming to life.
Mm-hmm.
All the energy chakras and stuff like that. Nobody knew about them, and they thought it was hocus pocus until we are able to measure them and to see the different energy circles that go around, the emptiness within that circle, and how
Yeah.
it works, and because it works like a funnel type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm looking for I don't know if I have one here. Maybe not. No, I guess I don't. I usually have a pendulum here, but I don't see it. Because you can actually measure there you go. Okay, put it over your hand. Show that trick. You know the trick.
Yeah.
Little
Oh,
higher. There we go. So let your energy run now. Because we have chakras in our palms, so we can actually measure the energy.
You don't see it, but it is going in very small circles.
Okay, so just relax, take a deep breath, and just allow it to go more. There we go. Maybe a little bit more towards the thumb, actually.
Oh, where am
I
I?
can sort of see it. I can sort of see it there, and it's there. That's a little better. Now we're seeing it. Deep breath and let it out and relax. Bringing that energy down through the crown, out through the hand. There we go. There we go. Good
There.
job.
There went a tea.
Awesome. You do. Maybe even a glass of wine.
After my tea. This is tea. This is not
Tea
wine.
first.
Tea.
Tea first. He did just get back from Great Britain after all.
Yeah.
They drink a lot of tea over there.
I love their tea.
They have great tea. They do have great tea.
I actually wanted to steal one of their what do you call it, milk bottles.
Oh yeah, because those are cool. We don't have those here.
No. That has nothing to do with emptiness.
Yeah, unless the milk bottle's empty, then you could say it has something to do with emptiness. Because then we would have had all the milk.
Yeah. No, I was going to get it empty because you can't bring milk into Canada.
True.
Yeah. So after
the chakra lesson,
so yes, so this is the chakra. This is the
Yep.
pendulum. If you guys have never seen a pendulum before, it's this one is made out of crystal, but there are other kinds made out of
That's
metal.
smoky quartz. That one, isn't it?
This is amethyst. It's
Amethyst.
a
Oh yes. Okay.
but the lighting over here.
It's like an ametrine kind of amethyst, is
Yeah.
it? A little bit
Yeah.
more yellow. Oh, I do have one.
Yeah.
I do have it here. This one here has some metal on it. This one here is a rose quartz.
Yeah.
There we go.
Beechwood also, yeah.
Yeah. Is that what yours is made out of, Shem? Beechwood? So you can use these for divination as well as measuring chakras. So if we just ask it to show us yes and see what happens. Okay, so it's going back and forth. And now we will ask it to show us no, please. Show us no, please. There we go. Good. Thank you. See how it stops when I say thank you?
Zishem also uses it to check the chakra, and we have a Facebook user that also uses it. It's very helpful.
It
Very
is. It's
helpful.
awesome. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know how this works, it works by energy. We don't do anything to it. Yeah, actually, you do something to it. You do program it to your energy. You basically have to clear it first when you buy it, and with salt, or what I do is salt and then full moon, what do you call it, light, put it outside to clear, and then you hold it and you do some kind of a ritual on it, and it takes your energy. And then after that, once you use it, it works on its own. You don't do anything to it.
We can also use our body as a pendulum.
Yes, you use what was it?
Muscle testing.
Muscle testing, yes.
Yeah, but there's also you can also use your body. So if you stand up and put your feet, shoulder width apart,
yeah,
then you can ask your body yes or no. And I usually go forward for yes and backward for no. So if you just allow yourself and stand, deep breath and relax, you'll notice that if you say, show me yes, your body will lean one way or the other. Some people go forward and back reverse, like they do yes back, forward for no. Some people tend to go side to side, depending on who they are and your own energy. So that's why I always check I check each time because you never know when your energy's off and you want to make sure that you're getting a good reading. So I usually check each time. And then the muscle testing is about how strong you can keep the muscle when you ask the question, right?
One of the things, if you have somebody with you, first of all, Shem saying carry it a couple of days to have your energy, which is true. You
Yeah.
put it in your pocket and hold it so that it gets programmed.
For sure.
If you're two people and you want to see if something works for you, this is where the heart thing comes in. You
Yep.
hold that item to your heart, stretch your hand. First of all, you stretch your hand. You ask somebody to push it down. You see how strong it is, and then you hold that item onto your heart, and then they push again. If it doesn't move, it means this is yours. But if it weakens, it means like no,
It's not for you.
It's not for you. There's another way of testing it. I think we should.
I also do this one. So if I'm trying to pull these apart is what I'm trying to do when I do this one. So I'm basically pushing this one to see if I can push it apart. So if I say my name is Tanys, I can't push it apart. If I say my name is Ramsey, I can't keep it together. So that's my yes and no. That's like a muscle testing thing that I do. Even for food muscle testing. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Or vitamins. I've heard of people doing it for vitamins and stuff. Although I tend to prefer to talk to a nutritionist about that stuff. But if they give you something and then you muscle test it, and it's not for you, then check in with them, right?
I do test the brand. Like
yes.
They tell you take vitamin D, and you go to a supermarket or to a health store, and you have like 500, and I go, which one? And then you can test to see if one is good for you, which one is more beneficial for you, not good, but more beneficial.
More beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And since we're talking about this, I think we should prepare a show about all these little things that people can take with them and help them on their daily journeys. I think we'll think about it. We'll think about it.
We actually teach a class on that too with the Twillo Lifestyle Academy. So, we could teach that class together if you like, Ramsey. I've been doing one similar, but we can do one together that has some of your techniques as well, if you like.
You find all these courses at the twillowlifestyle.ca. These and much more than that, more than this one. There's a couple of teachers.
We have 8.
8.
We have 8 teachers. Yeah, it's awesome.
So you can find a lot of great information on crystals and courses that are being given and so on. So do check it out. It's really interesting. I'm not trying to advertise for anybody, but I know if it's good. I know it's good. It's not like going to the Gap. We're minding the Gap and bringing all these helpful tips for everybody out there.
Yeah.
And most of them you don't have to be in person. They're all online, which helps out.
Means you can do them from anywhere.
Yeah, if you're in North America, so it's easy within the same time zone, almost. If you're far west, then it's a bit off, but do check them out.
Ramsey's one of our teachers too.
Yes, I'm one of the couple 8. I don't know how to count.
Well, we're growing too. You may not have known about the last 2. So yes, but we could always do sneak peek stuff here,
yes, of course,
right?
Of course.
Do little bits of it, like we just did. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And also we can. What I would like to. Well, actually, guys, if you have any topic that you'd like to hear about, please do put it in the chat over here, or send us an email directly to Tanys or myself. No, emails, like this is all news, but
or messengers,
Facebook Messenger, you can send it over no problem, and we'll include it in our future shows because we do have two shows running during the week. There's the Twillo Talk.
We have
Sounds like
three.
Pillow Talk. Oh yes, yes,
We have
yes.
three.
And the what is it called? The other one, astrology.
Astrological Tarot. So that's
Tarot.
Michelle Marie. She and I do one weekly on Wednesday where we do readings. Live, laugh, learn. And then Twillo Talk is on Monday. So Twillo Talk is Monday at 5. The readings one is Wednesday at 7. And then we do this one every second Friday at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'm on the 12th of April. So
Awesome.
join us. Do go see it every Wednesday, but on the 12th, do come because I'm going to be there.
And we always have lots of fun together.
It is so much fun, seriously.
It's awesome.
I love I look forward to it actually.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
come and share your energy with us.
Yes, please do. And it's on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook.
Facebook. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's on Twitch.
Too fun.
It's lots of fun.
Oh,
Yeah. Tutu fun is I have a tutu story that I told on Twillo Talk, and she saw my
I
tutu
see.
story.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. I remember that story. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what that's referring to. My tutu story is all about me gaining confidence and yeah. Anyway, we won't get into that, but check out Twillo Talk. About 3 weeks ago, I told the tutu story.
Another part of emptiness or nothingness
Mm-hmm.
is other than finding answers and we have guides. Now you can call them whatever you want to call them. Your
We
guardian.
have guides?
You can call them your guardian angels. You can call them guides. You can call them whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
They go by different names depending on your beliefs.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, they're all the same. They don't have names.
Yep.
They're just there to help and be there for us. In your point of emptiness is when you can hear them.
Yeah.
Oh, Shamla's
She's laughing.
I thought
Hopefully with us, not at us, but we're just,
laughing at the tutu fun. So during that point of emptiness, you hear them.
Mm-hmm.
And to get to that point is by minding the gap. Seriously,
Mind the gap.
had such a blast. Mind the gap. So with you always.
She's laughing with us, thankfully. Okay.
So minding the gap is very important because what it does is just it allows other thoughts, the intuition that you get.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes from somewhere. You see certain premonitions. It just comes from somewhere. And they're real. They're real, but they sit in the realm of nothingness.
Mm-hmm. For us to just go, there's that.
That little jump requires complete and utter silence, emptiness, because that's the only way of communication between I don't want to say world because they're not worlds. We're
Dimensions,
in the same world.
frequencies.
Different, yes.
Dimensional
different
frequencies.
Yeah. So to connect on that level is like when you get the whistle and to call a dog.
Right.
We don't hear them.
Yeah.
But a dog does. And it's the same thing. And the only way that dogs hear these things Because they're just loving energy fur balls that just, I don't know how to explain
They're
them.
very high vibration, is what he's trying to say. Yeah, so if you want a visual on that, right? Our hearing range is here. The dog whistle is up here. And so we don't hear it because it's out of our hearing range. But dog's hearing range is like this. So it hears it here, where we wouldn't. Mm-hmm. And that's because their vibration is so high, because they're just little bundles of joy. If we were sitting in dog love and joy all the time, we'd be able to hear it too.
Absolutely. And that's why if you look at when you go on vacation, okay, not on vacation to go jump in the pool, but you go on vacation to a new country. If you're going on a, let's say, a cruise, never been on a cruise, I hate water, but that's no, I don't hate water. I love water. I love the sea, but I just can't accept being on a ship floating, in deep
In the
water,
middle of nothing. Yes,
in the middle
gotcha.
of
Not for everybody.
no. So when you go on vacation and you're touring a new country, your senses are 100 times more awake and alert than when you are at home.
Mm-hmm.
You see things in a how I'm gonna say it. Like you see the flowers that are more vibrant than the flowers that you have back home, but they're the same ones.
Mm-hmm.
Even people are more vibrant in the other place, and it's not because it's different. It's just because you're out of your current situation, plugged into something new. So all your senses are just like rising to a point where they want to acquire everything around. Without saying a word, it grasps all this colors and movements and everything around. It just grabs it in, and you're like euphoric almost.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I'm seeing red geraniums right now. I'll have to look that up later. But I'm seeing bright red geraniums as he's talking about the colors.
And that's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
You need
It's
to
the spice of life, right?
yes, unplug yourself, even in your hometown. If you can unplug yourself from these things and put yourself in an I don't want to continue saying emptiness, but it is the emptiness. Is clearing the clutter that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You see your hometown in a different perspective.
You know, it's funny because my granny and I, we used to, when I was younger, right? I would have summers off,
Yeah.
and my granny and I would play tourist in our own town every year for a week, and we would find different things to do because it was a great way to get out of that regular headspace, right?
Yeah.
Into something different. And it was always a magical week. You know, we'd find ourselves doing a tour of the Parliament buildings, because of course I'm from Ottawa, or we'd find ourselves on a boat cruise on the canal, you know, something like that, where it's totally different from what we would do in our normal day. And it really shifts your
Yes.
perspective. So those geraniums look like bright red, right? Or the lilies that that Shem sees. It's amazing what that does. It takes you out of your regular space, and it changes your vibratory frequency, so you tune in differently. It's almost like putting a different lens on
Yes.
what you're seeing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Red
Geraniums
geraniums. It's a mouthful.
are, are protective plants.
Beautiful.
According to Wiccan belief, planting a
Geranium.
geranium near the front door warns you when strangers are approaching.
Oh.
Never knew that, but they're always in front of the door.
Yeah,
They're
I usually
planting-
do have red geraniums outside our door. Intuitively done, I guess.
and the white one to repel snakes.
Oh, I
They're
guess I should put
also
those in the back.
symbol of fertility.
The white ones or the red ones?
It doesn't say, but I'm guessing the red one.
I would think, because that would be passion and stuff too,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Mhm.
Yeah, but that is interesting. Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome to Ming. Um, yeah, geraniums are awesome, aren't they?
Yeah.
Hmm. Don't worry, I'll take care of that, Ramsey.
Okay.
Go ahead. You just talk, and I'll take care of that. No pressure or anything. I'll get
So,
on that.
pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, changing your energy even within your own city, it creates this liveliness within you, and it brings you different perspective. It just eases the pressure. This is what it is. It eases
Hmm.
the pressure on you, and that is a very very important thing because it allows us to flourish instead of having to be what do you call it, compressed with our daily activities. It just opens us up.
Hmm. Yes, I see your beautiful pictures all the time, Ming.
Yeah, actually, I think you're one of the few on my contact that runs around and puts all these pictures because you're always touring. You're
You
always
are.
touring.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. Hmm.
No,
Awesome.
I like the note. It said, "I point to Transformer and tell Albert it's an Eiffel Tower." I love it.
That's a great way to look at it. Very
Yeah,
playful. I love that.
yeah. Uh,
Love that. Yeah.
so, what else do we do in order to enhance our liveliness? Is being playful. And playfulness also changes the energy around. And we're all talking about energy because there's only one thing that drives us is our vibration. So by raising our vibration, making us more playful, making us see better outside. So you raise your vibration, you're a different person. You lower your vibration, and you're just like, and then you go to sleep. But raising your vibration is very good. Playfulness is good, and I think
Mhm.
physical activity is also good. And being in nature also helps. Okay, now nature is waking up, which is good to be able to take walk in forests and so on, so that you can connect with them. Believe it or not, there's still communication that takes place in the forest with you, even if you're not paying attention to it.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Plants and
Everything
trees, yeah,
everything talks, right?
yeah,
Everything vibrates. I always teach, our crystals can vibrate and sing to us.
yeah.
They have a vibrational frequency, so they vibrate and talk to us.
But you're the one that told me, which I found it before, but I couldn't remember. No, I think it was you, about the evening that you had where somebody bought this machine and took the sounds of the plants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plants, they have a beautiful, beautiful vibrational tone. And it's called a plant wave machine. And if you clip it to the leaves will sing
Mm.
to you. It's amazing. So, so peaceful to listen to. It's great. And trees, of course, talk to each other all over the world
Yeah.
because they're all connected. So, just as we are, we're connected to each other. We are all one.
And not only to each other as humans, but to each other with everything that is around us,
Yep.
even to the crystals.
Yep.
Because once, like Chef said, hold it for a couple of days in your pocket, but once it connects to you, it's part of you. It's five five
Crystals.
five. Oh, oh,
Crystals.
this is beautiful.
One of my favorites.
I bet. So, guys, Oh, it's 555. Good one. By the way, Shem is in the western side of the country, so it's still early for her. Our
Yes.
time is 7:55,
Yep.
and we're getting closer to the hour. So before we let you go, please do. I was gonna say slap that button and like us on YouTube so that you don't miss any of our shows. You can find it at Ramsey Chidi on YouTube, and I think it's Twillo Lifestyle
Mhm.
also on YouTube. Hit the like button. You always get the
Subscribe. Don't
subscribe.
forget to subscribe.
Slap the subscribe button and join our group. Um, we're fun. and
You too, Shem.
uh,
We also have our own groups on Facebook too. So we have private groups on Facebook. You have one, I believe, right? What's
yeah,
yours? What's yours called?
awaken to your true self.
Awaken to Your True Self. Yeah. And I've
So
got the Twillo Lifestyle Community group. It's a private group, but just let me know if you want to join us and we can add you in.
yeah, so it's good to be part of this community. It helps you. It
Mhm.
doesn't. It gives you more information.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds you of what you already know. And if you have any questions, you can always reach us in the community or outside it.
We also have a community section on the website now that you can buy a membership to, where you get all sorts of content from all the teachers.
Yep. So do check it out. Here, I'm going to put it again,
There we
just
go.
in case you missed it.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else, Tannis, before we leave for the day? Hmm.
Self-care and be kind to each other, please. Love
Yes.
and compassion. Key right now. Very key. For yourself as well as others.
And from my end is mind the gap. It is very important. The gap within your thoughts. It helps you achieve a higher dimension of communication
Mm-hmm.
that helps you bridge the gap of misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Hope that that made sense. I don't know. It was just brewing in my head. So,
Create a shared understanding by
yes. So,
narrowing
do
the gap.
mind the gap. Keep that emptiness in between, and wish you all a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Lots
Have a
of love,
great weekend.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this hour with us.